Jonathan Hickman is returning. You see this here? Ignore the top part. What happens when the powers that be meet the natural order of things? Look at what they wrote. Hickman, Skeety. I don't know any other Hickmans. It's only Jonathan. That's the only one that I know. So here I am withholding my dollar since the Inferno event. I said no more X-Men stuff. And then we get this. I believe it's an X-Men related book. Valerio Skeety, he's in the middle of doing this comic, the Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals. And after he's done drawing this, he'll be over there drawing the new Hickman comic book. When you attach Hickman to this image, what do you guys think? I know what I do. Long-term storytelling. I think that there's going to be something that starts here, which will continue and be relevant, and I'll enjoy paying $4 and dropping $5 and $6 on the story that he has to concocted. He was attached to the X-Men like summit of all the writers where they kind of plan and map out things. And I was thinking, why would he do that if Inferno was his final story? Probably because he's returning. And I always said I'll return when Jonathan Hickman returns. If this is an X-Men book, then this is the prophecy coming to fulfillment. Killmonger's back because so is Jonathan Hickman. Give me some fire. What happens when the powers that be meet the natural order of things? That's gotta mean resurrection protocols are coming to an end. Wouldn't that mean that? It's just a natural order of things. Natural order of things make me think of death. And we know what's happening with the X-Men. So with Hickman coming back now, I'm kind of excited. I actually hope what they do, or I hear that what he has been doing in his time away from the X-Men is he was actually scripting some comic books. They're gonna do a thing again where Jonathan Hickman just says, "No, the entire line of comics must cease. It'll only be Hickman comic books for the next 6 weeks." If they do something like that, they did it for Hawksbox for 12 weeks. I would like for them to do it again. And maybe he's using this time. He's attached to another artist, not just Valerio Schiti. It's not just this comic book. There will be another. And I'm hoping that he's actually utilizing this time here in July, August, September, making a little script for another artist to be doing. And then we can just get more books that way. He's been off of work in Marvel Comics in 616 comics. I think he's been doing some of those like vertical comics that don't really mean anything, that aren't part of any story, that don't get furthered. I think he's just doing those paycheck jobs. But he's been off of substantial consequential comic books for a long little while. A long little while. For a while, since December. Good. What's he been doing? What's he been cooking? You can't just tell me he's been on vacation this whole time. No, I would like to imagine he's writing comics. He's writing something with Skeety, and we'll see how that pans out. I returned to the X-Men. This was the first X book, which is, you can call it an Avengers book and an Eternals book too, but I would consider it an X-Men book, as I said in my review. Go watch that. I would consider this an X-Men book, and I came back just to see what the big summer event is, and I liked the story, and so I'm going to enjoy this thing. And I know that coming up in maybe 4 months from now, we will get a Jonathan Hickman comic book. It said in year 2023, didn't it, actually? So, no, I'm wrong. Year 2023, let's say January. It'll be a full ass 12 months between comic books. Ah, you know, it is what it is, but it's nice to know that Hickman will return and possibly even story and plot threads that he'd left will be continued furthered. Maybe Moira isn't such an asshole after all, and he'll fix it up. Because what they did with Moira, with saying how she actually hated mutants this whole time. You mean that you think that life she lived 1,000 years and injected herself with Logan's blood all just to live, just to find answers? That's because she hated mutants and she wanted them to end. That one's weird to me. I can't digest and swallow that one. I can't imagine that was Hickman's long-term plan. And if it was, I'm such a believer in Hickman. He would have done it way better. But that's it, man. Look, this is great news coming out of Comic Con, an actual comic book news story. Who would have thunk it? Better than the Black Panther news story. Hickman and Skeety, year 2023. That's all that they said. Hey, Marvel Comics, you announced that. You know what I'm supposed to feel, right? We're supposed to feel like, oh, competent writer and competent artist. Isn't that the case? Yep. We know that we're going to get a top tier character, right? Which means we're going to get an 18 out of 20% chance it's going to be white. What is Chillmonger talking about? Why does he make everything about race? Why does Marvel make everything about excluding races? The top 20 characters, as you've heard me say many times here, Black Panther and Storm are the only ones in there who aren't actually white. So when you got me the top tier creators, I'm picturing a pretty white comic book. Could I be wrong? Sure, I could be wrong. Watch me not be wrong. Marvel Comics need to do a better job at elevating characters who don't have white skin complexion. And by doing that, you got to like have a dedicated effort to feature them. So Sync right now and the project that is Sync and how we're trying to upgrade this guy, getting him a little higher and higher. That's cool for last year. All of year 2022 that they all right. They pushed Sync. I hope when a new editor gets on the book and a new writer and a new team gets on, they don't drop him the same way they do for everybody else. I need like a continued sustained. You got to decide that Sync is the new guy who we're trying to get up there, and you can't say no. Well, we're diversity, so there's Sync, and then there's the EO character, and we also got Gentle, and then don't forget that there's Monet, and don't forget about that black character because when you dilutes all of your care, it really doesn't. We're in the same position, which is the problem I started this with, which was 18 out of 20 of the characters happen to be white. Just concentrate the push, the elevation of a character. Concentrated on one, get him there. It's way more important to me that that happens rather than, oh my god, this is great. The third most important character of every team book has dark skin. This is awesome. Wrong. That's not what I want. I would love to have another Storm where God, look how Storm is just here, right? Look, and doesn't she fit? We're not going, what the hell, Storm? Why is she so close to the camera? She should be all the way down there. We don't say that. We say that's Storm because Storm has always been told that she was a mainstay, a big important character. That's how you do it. And if we're lending the talents of Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti to build or to utilize a character who isn't a white guy, what we'd have is that thing that they call progress. That if the talent matches, then you signal to the audience who are reading and paying for this stuff that, the most important comic book writer and one of the greatest artists of this generation are both elevating and using a character whose skin color looks like this. This character whose skin color looks like this must be valuable. I will now look out for this said character and consider him or her a top tier character. That's how we fight and combat racism, not by doing Marvel Voices Legacy, Community Legacy, Asia. That doesn't help anything. That's not a consequential story at all. Okay, guys, diversity lesson over. Hickman, I hope you use your talents to elevate black characters or reverse or combat the overabundance of white characters who we've had. Be great to happen. Chillmonger out. I'll have a Black Panther video talking about the trailer. I already did it on Ashley's channel, The Widow. I did that yesterday. You can check my Twitter to see the link. I talked a lot about Comic Con yesterday from the movies perspective, so that's gonna